Welcome to Revitalize and Replant with Mark Clifton, where we equip pastors to take their churches from declining to thriving by pointing them to a new future and a new hope. Join us weekly for encouragement and practical advice in your pastoring journey.
Hey, thank you, Dan Hurst. He's not with us today. I'm here with Mark Hallock. Hello, Mark.
Hey, what's up?
And we are in Mark Hallock's basement in Denver, Colorado, where we're doing nonstop podcasts for 24 hours straight. We just did one that you listened to, hopefully, the other day, the previous one to this. 10 ways you can impact your community, and particularly in a small town or a rural town. We did the first 6 of those in part 1, so if you didn't catch those, go back and listen to it, and maybe send these podcasts to some folks in your church so they can help you learn how you can impact your community, particularly in a small town or a rural town. But I did it in Kansas City, Missouri with these things in the middle of the city. Mark's done it here in Denver. They work everywhere. Yes. And so we're not going to go back and read the first 6 because you can go back and find those in the previous podcast. So we're going to start really with Number 7, which is cool. Have a hobby and take it out of the lobby. Now, I love this. Have a hobby and take it out of the church lobby. Here's the deal. Our friend Andy Addis famously said, preachers need a hobby. And
why, Andy? Why?
Andy says, because it makes you interesting. So today at lunch,
that's great.
Before lunch, we jumped into a watch store here in Denver, and I was looking at some watches, and Kyle came in with me. He'd never been in a watch store before, and Kyle is here with us.
Hey, listen, not many have.
Yeah, Kyle's here with us, and he's Kyle Bierman. He's doing our engineering for us, and he'd never been in a watch store, and it showed. When you walked in, you looked like you didn't know what you were a novice. But nonetheless, I walk in this watch store, so we look at the watches.
And you're kind of a pro. Let's be honest,
dude. I am a pro.
This is like,
I'm telling you,
this is your world, baby.
It's my world. It's my and so, but it's only been my world because for the last 15, 20 years I've been collecting watches, so I've learned a lot about it. My point in all that is, when we go to lunch then with Mark and he meets us for lunch, we sit there and we talk about watches. It makes you interesting. There's something you've got to talk about that makes you interesting. Andy Addis, our friend from Hutchinson, who's also on our team, he leads the replanting rural strategy for the North American Mission Board. Andy, are you ready for this? What's his hobby? Do you know his hobby? Andy's a prepper.
I didn't know that.
He is a prepper.
Hold on, what is it? What do you mean a prepper?
Get the mic there. Let Kyle tell you
Kyle, what is a prepper?
Because Kyle works with Andy.
Kyle, dude, I got to hear about
Kyle
this.
is Andy and Kyle work together on rural strategy, and Andy is a prepper. That is his hobby.
Yeah. Listen, all I'll say is that when the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm getting in my truck. I'm heading straight to Andy's house in Hutchinson, Kansas, because dude is ready. Dude has like the MREs, the meals ready to eat. He is well stocked to defend himself against any threats that may come.
We're talking like in a basement or like does he have a cellar?
Yeah, he's got a cellar. Like he's got his prepper cellar, and it's pretty interesting.
Okay,
man.
so he was so he was sharing all that with us one time.
Yeah,
how he goes to these prepper conferences, these prepper meetings. He buys prepper food, prepper stuff you need.
I thought I was prepared. I was not.
Yeah,
for seeing it in the flesh. Yeah,
and I love Andy because he's so he surprises you. You go, why do you do that, Andy? And it's not because he doesn't trust Jesus.
No,
it's not because he's scared of the future. You know why he does it? He says, because it makes me interesting. He said, all of a sudden, you're interested in me, aren't you?
Dude, that is
You want
true.
to know more about me. He said, let me tell you something else, Clifton. You get to engage with some really interesting people who would never engage with a pastor. So, I mean, there's a reason for his hobby.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so again, even in the hobbies that I have, you know, I'm in different networks. I mean, I'm on different Facebook clubs. People from all around the world as we exchange watches and talk about watches. This is so cool. I was watching this video, YouTube video on a guy in Japan. Obviously an American because I'm in Japan, but he's lived there for 10 years, and he does all these watch kind of thing where he evaluates watches and everything. And I could just kind of read between the lines. This guy, I think he's a believer. I think he's a Christian. So I messaged him on Facebook, And sure enough, he's a missionary. He's been there for 10 years, and he's a missionary. Well, he and I started this great conversation. And then the other day, I was watching this other YouTube channel with a guy in Sacramento. His name's Paul's Watch Repair. I'll give him a shout out. And he's in Sacramento, California, and he's from Romania. And I heard him say one time, we came home from church the other day, and I thought, Romania came home from church. So I messaged him. I said, you're a believer? He said, yeah, man. He said, my grandfather got saved in Romania. He was under all kinds of persecution. We escaped Romania. We came here when I was 9 years old. And he's a kind of a lay preacher and a great guy. And so here, I'll get to interact with all these people around the world I would never interact with because I'm in a hobby. Okay, I hope you're still listening. Hobbies make you interesting as a pastor. Hobbies give you connections beyond what you would normally have. Hobbies open your worldview. And hobbies give you some entertainment. They give you some creativity. They give you some relaxation. You know, I can work really hard on church revitalization stuff and even sermon preparation. All that's wonderful. But then I can take, an hour or two and look at some videos on how to rebuild watches or old vintage watches or talk to guys about watches. And it kind of clears my palate.
Yeah.
And then I can come back to the ministry and I come with a fresh perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
So have a hobby.
Dude, have a hobby.
And then take it out of the lobby.
And
in other
see
words,
it as missional.
Exactly, which is what Andy does with his prep. It's what I do with my watches.
It's what I do with tennis.
It's what you do with tennis.
Yeah.
You do the same thing.
Exactly. It's all the same.
And you'll be surprised how many men listening to us right now, pastors, have no real hobbies.
Yeah.
You don't have any hobbies.
Interesting. Yeah.
And you're losing some joy. You're not as interesting to people, frankly, and you're not connecting with people in that network. So have a hobby, take it out of the lobby.
I love it, man.
All
Okay,
right.
number 8. The next one is, it says like a good neighbor. Okay, so here's what he says. He says, connecting with people is all about creating points of intersection. We live in a world where we open our garage door, drive in, close the garage door, and rarely see, let alone connect with, our neighbors. Mm-hmm. What would happen if our church got really excited about being good neighbors? It could be incredibly transformational. And so then we lay out different ways to do that.
Oh, here's
right?
we're going to get ready. We're going to give some bullet points. A lot of times, this podcast is me just riffing and rambling normally.
Here's some
practical stuff. Here's how you can become a good neighbor. Number 1, start a community compost pile.
Hey, who would have thought of that?
And you can begin with your church flower room. No, you can't compost silk
Plastic,
flowers.
yeah.
No, but start a church, start a community. Number 2, walk more.
Yep, walk more.
Go for walks and say hi to people.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, guys. Like one of the goals I've set for myself since I came here 16 years ago is to take one walk a week at least around this neighborhood. Okay. And I'll just go by myself. If I have a meeting, sometimes I'll say, hey, let's go walk. And it's unbelievable. The people I've met, the neighbors, just by consistently going for a walk and then being alert. If there are people out, say hi to them. Ask them their name. And so that's around the church. I think we need to do the same things, obviously, around our own homes.
Yep.
But that's a great way to connect with neighbors. Okay.
How about this? Spend more time in your front yard.
Yes, not your backyard.
Not your backyard where nobody sees you.
Yep.
Now, I realize if you go into our neighborhood, we live in a small town, but we live in a subdivision in a small town. And you know what you see in that subdivision in a small town? If the garage door is open and there are 2 people sitting in lawn chairs, they're older. Older people
like to be in the front.
Tend to sit in the front.
Yeah.
Younger people are in the back.
In the back.
And there's something about that. And so what we're saying is, man, stay in the front yard.
Yeah.
That way you can wave at people when they go by.
Yep.
You can get to know the cars they're in. They may wave at you back. They may be walking someplace. Stay in the front. Spend more time in the front yard.
In the front yard. One of the things we challenge our church to do in the summer, in each individual, is pick one night in the summer, get the grill out in the front.
There you go.
And have a family barbecue open for whoever.
There you go.
In the front yard.
Oh, that's so good.
And you'll be amazed what happens. What does it say? It says, we love you. We want you. We're part of this community.
Yeah.
And so anyway, you got to be thinking missionally in these ways.
So we're not to love like a good neighbor. Take a walk, start a compost pile, spend more time in the front yard. And man, just invite your neighbors over for dessert. Doesn't have to be dinner. Invite them for dinner if you want to.
Yeah.
But man, just say, hey, would you like, and then you just go buy the dessert someplace. They don't get.
Come over for a piece of pie.
Have a piece of pie.
Yeah.
Invite your neighbors for how about shoveling their sidewalks?
Oh, that's big. That's big around here.
Just shovel, yeah, really.
And you too.
Shovel their sidewalks for them. Hey, go ahead and invest in a snowblower, and you get to have fun doing that, right? Get interested in your neighbor's hobbies.
Oh, boy.
Okay, now I just bored these two guys to death at lunch talking about watches. I'm pulling out YouTube videos of how watches are made. I'm telling them that your watch ticks 432,000 times a day. Your watch rotor travels 3,600 miles a year on your wrist, and they're trying to act like they're interested, but they're really not. But I love talking about my watches.
Yeah.
Whatever hobbies your neighbor has, they love talking
about it.
Find out what hobbies your neighbor has and ask them everything you can about it.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
That's good.
This is a good one. Offer to watch their pets when they're gone.
Oh, my gosh.
Isn't that great?
Dude, that's a blessing.
That's a
We have
blessing.
2 dogs.
Yeah.
I can tell you what a blessing that would be to us.
Yeah.
It's just a simple act of love.
Yeah. And then attend their children's activities, especially if you're my age, you don't have any kids at home. It'll be so impressive to those neighbors and people in the community if you take enough interest in their family that you're going to go see their kid, as we said earlier, play in an orchestra, play in the band, or have a play at school, or play t-ball. You're going to go see them, have an interest. So be a good neighbor. Number 6, turn up the wow factor.
Number 9, actually.
Excuse me. Did I say number 6?
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm dyslexic.
That's okay.
It's
It's number 9. I know. It's all right. I'm just trying to help.
Great. That's scary.
That's great.
It looked like a 6 to me.
I know. You keep rolling. You got it.
Turn up your wow factor. Turn it up to 11. I love that. Turn it up to 11. In other words, and here's the deal. The goal is not wow. And by the way, the wow factor in Linwood, Kansas, population 432, is very different than the wow factor in Brookside in Kansas City, which was the most affluent zip code in Kansas City. You're not the same. You got to look at your culture. But what we say by wow factor is you exceed people's expectations of what they're going to get when they come to church.
Okay, I want you to share something, because one of the things he says here that's right is maybe instead of doing 8 kind of subpar events in a year, what if you did 2
That's it.
really well? And share with, this is one way you've done this.
Yeah.
Is the I think it's a Christmas time.
Yeah, it is Christmas.
It's like a
at Linwood.
at Linwood. Talk about that.
So instead of trying to do a lot of things poorly or substandard or just barely getting by the wow factor, we mean do a few things but do them really well.
Yes.
And again, a wow factor in a small town has to be different than a wow factor in the city, because if it's too much like a big city, it won't feel normal. It'll feel
It'll feel
phony
fake,
and
over the
fake
top.
and over the top.
Yep.
But you want it to have quality. So what we did is I went to every city council meeting when I first went to Linwood. And, city council is really small, just a handful of people, all volunteer. And I was, myself and Howie, our pastor, we were the only ones there most of the time. And we would just listen to what needed to be done. And one night they said, hey, we got some money to buy a Christmas tree. We're going to have a city Christmas tree. I guess, where should we put it? And I guess we should light it. And I said, hey, would it be possible if you let our church put on a special city Christmas tree lighting deal? Could you let us do that? And they said, man, that would be great. We would love to let you do that. So they gave us full ability to do that. So I leaned into our association. Our church is in the Kansas-Nebraska Convention. I leaned into our state convention. I leaned into some churches I knew in other places, tried to raise some support. And so we put on an amazing Christmas tree lighting ceremony with a nighttime parade. We used the volunteer fire department. Trust me, every small town, every small county has a volunteer fire department, and they love nothing better than to have a reason to get on their trucks and ride around.
You bet.
And so we got Casey Wolf, the Chiefs mascot, we got Slugger, the Royals mascot, and we got Santa Claus. Each of them got to be on their own fire truck, and we told the town of Linwood, we're going to have a Christmas parade, but we're going to come up and down every street in town, because there's only 4 or 5 streets.
That's so cool.
And so you don't have to leave your house, where the parade's coming to you. Well, if people know that Santa Claus and Casey Wolf and Slugger are going to come by their house, they're all going to get out in the yard, right? So it's a huge response from the town.
Yeah.
So the next year we said, hey, if you want to be in the parade, put some lights on your tractor and join us. And so we have a nighttime parade, and people put lights on their tractors and their four-wheelers, and then we brought in some country music, and we had downtown, and 400 or 500 people would come to this thing.
Wow.
And so that's a wow factor. You do one thing really well a year, or two things really well a year. That's what we're talking about.
I love that, man. I love the intentionality of that. And guys, one of the things I'm just sitting here listening to Clifton that I appreciate about you, Mark, is when you are revitalizing, replanting a church. Yes, you're preaching the word, you're praying, you're shepherding, but you also have to be a visionary.
And you got to love the town.
You got to love the town. And how are we going to reach these people?
And how do we say all the time, your church is being revitalized when there's a pattern of making disciples who make disciples that result in the community being noticeably better. And listen, if the community of Linwood and the people who live in Linwood, if their life isn't noticeably better because Linwood Baptist Church is there, we're not being the church. And look, I'm not talking about stuff. People are automatically going to jump to conclusions and say that has nothing to do with the gospel. It does, because listen, if you're a disciple of Jesus, then that means you're doing the things he told you to do, which means you're going to be loving and caring and generous. And no one should be more generous than those who've been dealt most generously with. Right. So in our community, we should be the most generous people in our community. Generous with our money, with our building, with our heart, with our compassion. We should care what the schools are like. We should care what the streets are like. We should care if the sidewalks are maintained well. We should care because we love people because Jesus loves people.
Yeah, that's good.
And you just have to say, we got to be engaged in the lives of people. Yes, we want them to know Jesus, but we want them to know that people who love Jesus love them and care about them.
Amen. That's well said.
And we want their community to be noticeably better because the people who love Jesus are there.
Okay, we're at number 10, bud. Number 10.
Here we are.
Is go all in on building a bridge.
That's right. And here's how you can, we've already talked about it, but let's just run down some ways you can build bridges between your church and the unreached, unchurched community, all right? We mentioned about a compost, but how about a community garden? How about working with the special needs prom?
That'd be cool.
We've talked about those. How about an after-school homework club? We did this, movies in the park.
Yes.
We do that at Linwood rather. We started doing it at Linwood. We rented an inflatable screen, and we borrowed a video projector from like the state convention or something, and we just said, hey, we're going to have a free movie night. And you know what? The city library in Linwood asked us to do that every month. And so they posted it, but we did it. So we picked the movie and we did the whole thing. We bring the popcorn machine in. Movie night in a small town outdoor is a huge deal. Bring some of your folks in and let them sing at the senior center.
You really go Christmas caroling and stuff?
Do it sometimes. Do it sometimes besides Christmas.
Okay,
right?
give us a few more. Keep rolling.
All right. How about teacher appreciation? We've already talked about that. That's important. How about volunteering to be a chaplain for the volunteer fire department? That's really important. Donuts, man. Take donuts to the first responders. Take donuts to the city hall just once in a while. Take donuts to the school, as we said, to the teacher workroom. All those kinds of things. Have some car clinics. We've talked about that. And then have a pumpkin palooza where you're going to just give away free pumpkins. You're going to go buy a whole truckload of them.
That's awesome.
And just say, hey, come by that church next Thursday night and you can pick all the free pumpkins you want. There's no limit to how you can just love your neighbor and just start to build bridges.
So this is what we've been talking about, 10 ways to reach your small town. We've looked at, this is part 2. We want to encourage you to listen to the last one. And we do love you. We'd say, hey, check out churchreplanters.com. All kinds of resources to encourage you and help you. And we'd like you to subscribe as well, right?
Yeah. All right, absolutely. And we did put all of this article in the show notes.
Yes,
so you can share this with your church people. All these things we listed and ran through, they're all right there in writing for you, so you can listen to them and you can share with them.
That's right. Okay.
All right.
Thanks for joining us today on Revitalize and Replant. This podcast is brought to you by the North American Mission Board, where we help dying or struggling churches regain health for the glory of God and the good of their communities. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. To learn more about becoming a replanting pastor or to explore resources about revitalization for your own church, visit churchreplanters.com.